to have this amazing, wonderful, close-knit family, and supplies are coming in. Sanjay has given you the sort of the overview of the situation in Bombay, very similar in Delhi. What disturbs me, though, that almost 50% or maybe 60% of the population in India, they're poor, and but government is trying their best. The local governments are trying their best to reach out to them, to feed them, because they don't have work. Working class and construction workers, laborers, as they, So when I read those things, it disturbs me. But thankfully, I found a way to keep my stability sort of intact, inner stability. So yeah, good. I can't complain about myself. No, not at all.
So when do you think you can come back and go back to work? I guess you miss shooting, you miss... actually, what has been your plans during the Corona shutdown? Has you had any films to do or any theater work?
No, theater work is going on virtual reality. I'm working on a piece of theater that's started. I'm very happy about that, that every other day, every alternate day, I'm working on that with a mentor, with my director and writer. Apart from that, I was about to start shooting for, I would say, the biggest ever film in my life and the most challenging role that I've ever done in my life. I was in Bangladesh and about to start the shoot, and the film was produced by two of the producers of Bohemian Rhapsody, and the director is the director of Delhi Crime and Siddharth and all that. So, but we had to postpone it. I was already there in the country, in Bangladesh, and we had to call it off till we start again. And we don't know when that is going to start. But there were a few more films. One was set in Switzerland, the other was in India and other places in London and everywhere. So there is a very interesting article that my friend was talking about. I haven't read it yet. That in England, they have decided, England or in the UK, they have decided that they will hire the cast and the crew, and they will make them go through the medical screening. Then they take them to the location, quarantine them, shoot the film, then again medically screen them. And if somebody develops any symptom or something, then they quarantine themselves, and then they come out. So I believe that human beings are extremely creative, and artists are especially creative because that's their job, and we are very resilient. And I am optimistic that sooner or later we will start, we'll resume back to our work.
Yeah, here in Germany, we already started going back to film. Actually, the lockdown will be, so the country will open step by step now. And also the film shootings, they work on everything which is needed, like you were saying, so how can you do it with quarantine? Even football, they will start football next weekend here.
Wow.
And they will do it without visitors, so it will be empty stadiums. So they just play against each other, and okay, they will have body contact, which is not, you can't avoid in a game like football. But the thing is, they will do the same. They will be tested before and tested after, and so on. And but there's a big discussion about that, because if things do not well, then we might need to turn back everything, which is not a good signal then. But let's see. Okay, we will report. But Adil, saying about that movie which you need to shoot in Bangladesh hopefully soon, what is this about? Can you tell us a little more about it, or is it still under
under the wrap? I'm not at the liberty to talk about it.
Okay.
Apart from the fact that, which I told you, that this is one of the the biggest ever in the lead And I was very, very much looking forward to it. But also I was a bit apprehensive because I did not get much time to prepare for the role. So I was sort of asking the director, why can't we do it in the winter? Why do we have to do it now?
So there you go.
It seems like the heaven has, heard my deep wishes about not doing it in the summer.
That's so cool.
So
But that means also, Adil, that there will be no second season of Daily Crime, or is there a second?
Delhi Crime, no, Delhi Crime has been shot. Second season had been shot.
Ah, okay.
Maybe a week's work was left. So they must be now in post-production, rapidly finishing up whatever they have shot and get it ready. And 1 week of work is left, according to my information.
Hmm.
So yeah, as soon as they open up, they will just shoot. Not much left, very little.
Nice.
And how about Star Trek? That is also completed, and is it already also can it be watched, or is it still in post-production?
No, Star Trek is in the post-production. It has been over. We finished the shoot. I'm sure it's a lot of computer graphics, which takes generally a lot of time. But they started in January. No, when did they start? I was there I forgot exactly which month I was there. My part is done. I have been there twice in 2 different timings. And so, yeah, it should be ready. I mean, I just read some newspaper report or website report today. They're most probably coming by the end, not end, but later this year. They're going to start telecasting.
And how did you feel in working for such a big production and in the American movie system compared to the Bollywood or Indian movie system, or let's say the art house system, for example, like a film like Hotel Salvation?
Exactly. I was about to come to that. Because this man who is sitting here, Sanjay Bhutiani, he has trained me so well to fit into any situation. So, and I'm lucky to have worked with Subhashish and Sanjay, producer and director, and I'll be ever grateful to that film, what it has given me, and it is still giving me. And I read your mail, Stefan, that is going to be coming out as DVDs by later this month in Germany. And so I feel, Stefan, let me philosophize a little bit and allow me that indulgence.
Sure.
Because my job as an actor is to fit into any role. So that is also the case in everyday life. Now I'm playing the role of a home chef and a husband and a father and a gardener and all sorts of things. And so I take it as if it's a role that I'm playing a role, the actor's role who is in a big film or a TV series. It's the most expensive series on the planet Earth, they say, ever made. So the only difference could be is that the things which are being demanded artistically from all departments are fulfilled with no questions asked if it is artistically demanded. In a smaller film, what happens that can we make do with something? But that also gives birth to a lot of creativity when we, when we have a smaller budget and in the constraint when we work, it gives birth to a lot of creative solutions. Yeah. And I'm not saying that the bigger budget film, especially when you're working with the top of the world, class cast and crew, they do not have those solutions. They also have the solutions, and maybe they can go farther with the creativity because of the resources that they have. I'm sure Sanjay is going to agree with me because he has produced a lot of ad films with a huge budget. So he understands the availability of resources and what it can give you. So I feel at home, and I feel at home in Mukti Bhavan and in Star Trek. And I'm, as I said, I feel one of the luckiest actors on the planet who can do a no-budget film to a love-budget film to a multi-million-dollar film. So, no complaints whatsoever.
So there's one question from the audience which fits into that area also, because the question is, have you seen also positive consequences or new opportunities that came up in the past weeks during the Corona? You, in the beginning, you mentioned, I didn't get it actually totally, but you mentioned the virtual play, theater play, or can you explain that a little bit, please?
No, not technologically, nothing yet so far which can reach out to people. Maybe people are making lockdown film festival has happened. I had been one of the jury members of Garrett Films Lockdown Film Festival of 3 minutes each. And what I am doing right now in terms of theater is that my mentor, my guide, my director, co-actor, he is in his house, which is 20 kilometers, but it's in another state. So I'm not allowed to go there, though I can move around a little bit in Delhi, but I cannot go to that state. So we meet on Duo or in WhatsApp video call, and we practice our sessions to dig deep into the texts which had been written by him. And it's a very, very difficult text because the words are extremely simple and plain, but the subject matter is the magnitude of the subject matter is I think is the biggest ever that I have handled. It's the conversation between the famous Krishna and Arjuna at the brink of war on the battlefield. So the magnitude of each and every sentence and the predicament that they are in, but written and spoken in very ordinary words, so that we can humanize, or maybe we human can uplift ourselves to the stature that they were in and the dilemmas that they faced, and the kind of solutions that Krishna was coming in with to resolve his dilemma, this extreme pain and suffering that he was going through before he started the war. So it is very challenging. So we're exploring each and every word of the sentence. So we're going word for word, and maybe we just explore one sentence a day, not even a sentence sometimes.
Wow.
We have the luxury of time.
And then in the end, this is for the stage, correct?
It is meant for the stage, but I have a vision which I've been getting that maybe we will also film it. And my visual memory, which is not memory, sorry, my visual which are coming to me is in the run of Kutch. Just two people are talking in this very intimate way about the dilemma, and the entire war is waiting for them, in the soundtrack. So I'm just thinking in those terms, but definitely on the stage. But stage not necessarily has to be a conventional stage, but it could be in somebody's house. Maybe we come to Germany and perform in your living room, and you can invite your friends, and that's that. So it is a one-man performance. Both the characters I will play, but in the films it will be two people. But on the stage is one man, and I'm preparing it in such a way so that I can come and perform in this light, and whatever light, or maybe during the daylight. There should not be any restrictions, and also to be able to perform in a bigger stage with lights. So all the possibilities will be there.
Sanjay, how is it for you? Adil mentioned that you're involved, besides doing such fantastic art house films like Hotel Salvation, you were involved heavily in the ad business. Are you working on ads or films during the shutdown?
Yeah.
If so, how are you doing it, although you can't go out?
So there are a couple of things two, three things we are doing right now. We are using this time very productively. There are three teams right now working on scripts, including, Subhashish is working on his next project right now. It's about to, I think by another month or so, he should have finished his script by end of May or early June. And we have a couple of other directors we are interacting with and finishing those scripts there. So we are trying to use, this time productively. We're like in the process of buying, book rights for a series we want to develop. And I've already approached Adil for that. I don't think I can work without him many things. So, and he so fits to the T according to me. And he wants to do comedy. So I've given him something which is very serious, but I see comedy in that. So once he reads it, he'll understand where I'm coming from. And I've approached him without a director really, because I believe once he says yes, then I think we'll get a good director on board. Discuss together and get a very good director. Because it's a very, very strong concept. We're also working on something interesting which should come out in about 2-3 weeks from now. Like a ad film kind of thing. Generally, we do, high value advertising, global campaigns and big budget campaigns we specialize in. So that's what Adil was mentioning, because he has seen some of our work that we've done, internationally. But my heart is, I define big, honestly, with idea and not budget. So for me, the idea is the big thing. For me, that is where the excitement is. So yes, we are busy using our time productively to developing few things.
Great. Adil, I have a question because in doing some research for this live talk, I have seen you in an interview from IFFI Festival in Goa last December, and you were, I think you have, there was a premiere screening of Pariksha. Is it right spoken? Pariksha? Can you tell us a little bit about that? Is it already out in India? Do you know how it will there be distribution also worldwide, or to Germany at least?
Pariksha is a film written, directed by Prakash, who is a very celebrated film director in India. And it is based on a true story which was told to the director by a police officer who had been IPS highest ranking police officer. The character of that police officer is also in the film. And it's about a rickshaw puller, cycle rickshaw puller in a small town in India, in eastern India, who carries these people, young kids, to the best school in town. But his son goes to the government school, which is generally not, well looked after financially and academically as well. So his dream is to make his son study there in that big school, but of course financially he cannot afford it. So in the process of the story, we found out that he had gotten some money, and then he managed to put his son in that big school, but he could not afford to sustain. And in order to sustain financially to support his son's education in that very, very, very high-end school, what he goes through and his fall from grace is a tragedy. It's a tragedy. And so that film is complete and is made. Prakashji was waiting for some collaboration with another studio so that they can release it in a larger way, or sell it to the satellite so that he gets the money and use that for PNA, we call it. PNA is what is PNA? Publicity and advertising. Yeah. I'm so bad with the jargon of production. I can't tell you.
You're not expected to know everything.
I'm terrible. So that's what I have known, and I've seen the film. It's very heart wrenching and heartwarming as well to see the film. Yes, it can be shown in your festival if if somebody's interested. It's on education, the take on the education system in India as well as in so many Asian countries which are not in the does not substantially invest in education policies, education. So yeah, it is a interesting, heart wrenching film.
No, I definitely will ask Prakash Jha. We have had movies from him already. For example, one big success was Lipstick Under My Boka. And I tried to bring also Lipstick Under My Boka, that there was a bigger release in Germany, but unfortunately somehow it didn't work out. I don't know why, but it's always difficult actually to bring, because the European film market is so full of films, so it's not so easy. It's always easier if for example, a guy like Sanjay decides to put in a small proportion as a German credit, a German co-producer also, because then it's much easier, because then you get funds for the distribution and everything. But if you're not in that system, because Germany and Europe especially, there's a lot about the film fund system. So if you're not in that, then it's always difficult to bring it in.
Yeah.
Even, for example, What Will People Say? Or so a big applause again for your national award in Norway. And yeah, so this is really fantastic that went to the Oscars, even if it didn't get an Oscar, but it was on the nominee list. And yeah, so there is something what I also look for, that people that the films travel more. I have one question here from the audience, and I would like to also ask the audience, please ask your questions. You can even ask them in German, and I will translate them for Adil or for Sanjay in English. So here's a question from whoever is Galaxy J2 Pro. I don't know. This is, I think, Samsung handy or whatever. Mobile. Why do you feel avant-garde productions such as the recently made Hollywood in the English game Netflix are not made in the Indian context? When do you feel Indian OTTs will rise above the cliched productions laced with sex and violence? I don't know. You don't have to answer, but if
can you repeat the question once more, a little louder?
Yeah, sure. Why do you feel avant-garde productions such as the recently made Hollywood in the English game, Netflix, so it's a Netflix production, the English game, are not made in the Indian context? When do you feel Indian OTTs, I think he means not just Netflix is not an Indian OTT, I think like Hotstar also, will rise above the cliched production laced with sex and violence? I know that you're not playing in movies like that. I'm just repeating that question.
Sanjay, would like to take the question?
Well, I think there are different players are doing different targets. Though most of them, what I understand right now is that they are targeting masses. And some of them have taken the route of sex and violence in a big way. Very evident because people know about it, which is why this question is coming. There have been some good programs that I've seen on Amazon, definitely with more consistency, and a couple of good 2 or 3 programs which have been very good on Netflix, also from the Indian production. One of them was Delhi Crime. And I particularly like the first part of Sacred Games, the first season. And also I saw Taj Mahal 1989. I like that on Netflix. And there are people who like other things as well. But these are my personal, likings. And on Amazon, there have been some very good programs too. I believe on MX Player, there have been 2-3 good shows. So I think everybody's experimenting, learning, trying to figure out how do you connect with a larger audience, which is, different from, which is the same audience as the television audience, watching, the conventional, programming on Star TV and Sony TV and other channels. So they're trying to reach to them. And some people are tickling them with sex and violence, and some people are trying to make good content, which is different. Let's say not good only, but different kind of content. So they've been successful as well. I guess our market will evolve over a period of time, and we'll see good content coming in. Adil, what do you think?
That is my question also, Sanjay. If there are others than Netflix and Amazon, so the big global player, because in Germany, for example, we have two big private stations, so the RTL group and the Pro771 group, and they started their own OTT services, and they started also to produce originals. And then there's also the second TV channel of Germany, it's a public channel, and they also started to produce series as originals. They pick the word from Netflix, or everybody is picking that from Netflix, I guess. But, so how is the development in India? Is there some movement that the big players like Star or so, they are also stepping into that field, producing original series for their OTT services?
Yeah. So all that is happening right now. And I think this is again a time people are using it for development, but honestly, when I'm interacting with some directors and writers, sometimes they throw a blank saying, listen, we are going through a difficult time right now. We don't know how to really think and, write something. But some people are writing as well, excited about some ideas. So it's all a mix happening right now. And I'm sure Adil is being sprayed with a lot of scripts going to him nowadays, saying Adil is sitting at home. Why not attack him with scripts, and like a few other actors who are popular, who people want them.
My take on your the question that you ask is, again, I'm looking at it thematically and not specifically, is that also depending upon the observations that I have across the OTT platforms from abroad and in India, that the themes are mostly about the lower depths of humanity. Most of the, almost 90% of the contents are like that. Crafty, very, very well made, narrative-wise, style-wise, acting-wise, technically, extremely well made. But it's like a vulture, it flies very high, very skillful, but the eyes are on the corpses or carcass of, the lower depths of humanity. Because I think it is very difficult for any creative person to write something which can uplift you, which can give you an insight of a deeper insight into human beings, into society, into relationships. It is extremely hard to write. I mean, one of the best examples that I had been part of as such a film was one is Life of Pi, and the other is which became a hit, which became a is the budget was $110 million, but they made $850 million, almost 700 million profit. The only film which was thought that it is a very expensive art house movie, but it turned out to be a blockbuster. And but it's very difficult to make such a film. You need a lot of creativity, a lot of hard work. and a lot of vision, a lot of craft. But it's very difficult to make. A movie which is just philosophical in nature, at the same time extremely interesting and engaging for common audience to watch. Now, if we are talking about India, even in India, a place like Guwahati, you know, Life of Pi ran for 5 weeks. Some people say, oh, because you were there. Well, I was there in other films also, it never ran for 5 weeks. But Life of Pi did. It is nothing to do with the actors and there were no stars in that film. The only star, if we call it a person who is known, was Ang Lee. And rest of them were not stars. You know, Irfan was known a little bit. I am absolutely not known. Suraj was a newcomer. But the film became the star. The theme, the way it was made became the star. So my take is that very few people in the country, our country, I'm talking about India, would have such kind of perseverance and creative. Of course, they're extremely talented and creative, but to have such a to persevere to make such a movie which will also engage a lot of people and yet not compromising its philosophy behind it, the theme behind it, and not giving they will not cut short in any possible way. So it's easy to sell dark sides. It tickles it tickles the human being very easily. Sex, violence, and fear. It is very, very easy to sell. I don't understand why when people find an easy way to sell things, why would they take the hard way? The only reason they should take the hard way, because for me, art must serve the purpose to uplift the audience and give a macro view of the humanity. And that's what art should serve, according to my perception of art. Otherwise, those are just movies. Those are not art. Like art, it cannot reach the level of art. Now, coming to the second example, which is Hotel Salvation, Mukti Bhavan, it has got that quality, according to my understanding. The only reason that it did not go out into the cinema hall, because we didn't have the budget for P&A. If it was, we would have spent at least 10 crore. I don't know how much is that in euro. If we had that money, you would have packaged it well. We would have advertised it well. I think once people would have come to the cinema halls, it would have become a hit, according to my understanding.
I totally agree. Yeah.
So it is very difficult to make such movie.
No, I totally agree. And Adil, this is also one more question for you. You have picked those art movies, and they're so. How do you search for that, or how do you decide on your roles, on your characters, on the movies, on the roles you take? Can you give us a little insight in that?
Sorry, last sentence?
Now, an insight in how you pick the roles, the characters you play. If you get I guess you get a lot of offers, and then you have to choose, So, and let's say I'm a new filmmaker. I want to attract you in my movie. So what should I offer you besides money, maybe? But that's obviously not so important for you, because as I was seeing on your work, what you do is you always seem to look for films which has some meaning, and meaningful films, So okay, so what if I'm a new filmmaker? I'm Subhashish and I don't have a father like Sanjay. What should I put in the script to persuade you?
No, but Sanjay was the person who recommended my name to Subhashish. But apart from that, it is Subhashish's writing and his personality which got me into the film. Even he had, anybody behind him, but happens to be his father. That wasn't the reason. The reason was that the script spoke volumes to me. The theme spoke to me deeply, and the fact that I knew that he can make films very well because he had the craft with him. He studied it. He had made one film which I saw. But before even I saw his films and read his script, I said yes. So that element, which is, I believe in intuition, that I had a good feeling about it, and I value my feelings than my strategy and intellect. I value my feelings way more in these cases. If a new filmmaker can credibly prove that he can make film, because everybody wants to make films, not everybody, but a lot of people. And then I have done also such films, but quite a few of them turned out to be very, very mediocre. And it's not that the script was bad; script was good. It that they didn't know how to translate that into a film language, into a credible, well defined film. So I nowadays look at, of course, the script, the credibility of the director, what he has done before. Even if he has done a short film, I would like to see how he look at scenes and light and color and costume and interrelationships between the characters, how complex it is, how deep it is. All these things have to, have to be fulfilled. And of course, if the person cannot pay, the producers cannot pay, then we have to find a way out to so that they value my time as well, or the art itself is good enough for me to be part of it, that I don't regret at all that, oh, why did I spend 1 month doing Mukti Bhavan? Because that film is so one. It is not because of anything else, but the kind of love that it received across the globe, and it gave me credibility as an actor. It gave me a national award, and also awards across the globe, so many of them. So, but those are later. I didn't know it will give me awards, but it's a matter of how deeply it is connected to the writer's heart and how he has spoken the story, told the story through the film language. So those things matter a lot. And I can only choose from the films which chose me in the first place. Like they come to me, and then between them I have to choose. So I don't have an agent scouting out uh, scripts for me at all, except for I have an agent in Hollywood, but not in India.
Okay, so you do everything yourself. So all the scripts come in, you read yourself. That's a lot.
I try my best. Yes.
Oh, next time you need to show us the staples of screenplays you're hiding somewhere in your cabin also. Okay, I have a question from the audience. This is for the both of you. Adil and Sanjay, could you share your journey through the craft of filmmaking? What have been profound experiences for you both? And it's coming from Kanchan Monga.
Sanjay. I'm not a filmmaker, so it is Sanjay.
Okay, but you're an actor. So what's your? How did you learn your craft? So the question is for the both of you. So for you, for the craft of acting, and for Sanjay, for the art of filmmaking, producing.
Sanjay, go ahead.
I don't know. I got into the film industry when I was in advertising. I started with in advertising. I did one film, promotion of a film called Raju Chacha in 1999. And Mr. Ajay Devgan, he told me, why are you not part of the film industry? You guys can think creative. And I started a film marketing outfit within the advertising agency, a first of its kind in India. And it started growing. And one day I got a job offer to head a film company called BR Films, BR Chopra's, which was an honor for me because I'd done the marketing for Bhavan, and that became quite a success as well. And, I never looked back. I learned the ropes of film trade and creativity during the course of my job there, though I was heading the company. But yeah, that's how I got into it. And I worked with some of the biggest stars during my BR Films days. but I've always had this thing in my head since 2008, 2009, that I want to do meaningful cinema. And that's when I quit the job in 2009 and December to start Red Carpet with my partner, Sajida. And our first production, Kush, which was a short film that did pretty well, won many awards. And then, of course, Mukti Bhavan has been a great experience for all of us, making it together. It's been the most wonderful experience of my life. And I'm hoping that we'll make some. I'm just waiting for my next couple of projects which I know of, and I'm hoping that we will surprise the audiences again. Adil.
Well, it had been both intuitive and strategic training. Initially, when I started as a child, as an 8-year-old. I acted for the first time in my life on the stage in a two-actor play, and I loved it. And I thought the time stood still for half an hour, felt like 5 minutes. And I know that there is some magic there. And I continued doing it. And then I joined the film industry in 1980. I did my first film in 1982. It's a video film. When there was the very rudimentary camera and all that. And then I joined the Assamese film industry from 1985 till 1990, early 1990. And then I realized that I need to train myself to learn more about acting. So I joined the National School of Drama, and then I went over to England to study at the Drama Studio London. Then I came back realizing I know nothing about acting. So I begged my teacher, Khalid Tayebji, to train me for next 6 years from 1993 till 1999. I had been training. So it's 9 years from 1990 till 1999. I had been training myself. Then I fell in love with theater instead of film. So I thought I would like to be a hero in Bollywood, in Bombay those days, not Bollywood. And then fortunately I fell in love with theater. So I never wanted to act in films. In 1999, I did my first play, which got me an award from the Fringe in the Edinburgh Film Festival, Theatre Festival. In 1999, I got the best review that any Indian actor has ever gotten from The Independent, from Scotsman. So I kept doing theatre till 2009. I did 2 or 3 films in between, but very small films. 2009, I acted in my first. So I don't want to go for a biography of filmography, but the process of learning was a continuous process. And in fact, a week and a half ago, I started working on this text that I spoke of, the theater piece that I started working on. And the process and the approach that we started following, and I realized, oh my God, this is going back to zero. And I had to admit to my director, mentor, and saying, it feels like I know nothing about acting. He said, yes. He didn't say yes about me. He said yes about himself, because he also followed this process. And he realized that he knows nothing about acting. So now we are collaborating from zero. And I hope that this, knowing nothing about acting in spite of doing so much, will continue to be like that. And so that I can start from zero every time, because that's what keeps me on my toes and makes me look forward to the next thing I do.
Here's a question from Manasuya Paul. My question is to Adil. It seemed there were many young men, also women in Assam, who wanted to get into National School of Drama like you. Baharul Islam, Seema Biswas. Why and how did it happen?
How did they get into drama school? Is that the question?
I don't understand the question totally, to be honest, but maybe Anna.
What did he write?
Yeah. Let me see. Okay, I just try to bring in Anusuya. Anusuya. Okay, so she doesn't have a microphone. Okay.
Hello?
Now,
Yeah. Can you hear me?
yeah, sure.
I can hear you.
Yeah, hi Adil. I was just very curious to know because I worked with Baharul. Actually, I did my PhD in mobile theaters of Assam. So I was just working with Baharul also, and I was curious to know how many young men and also women, but I don't know many women, but I know about Seema Vishwas, who had got into National School of Drama at one point of time. I wanted to know the socio-cultural context under which these young men actually were overwhelmed with the National School of Drama and they got it at that point of time. What was the basic reason? Was there any unique reason behind it that they got into? Because Assam always has a very different history when it comes to when we talk about the nationality question, the kind of a conflict that Assam has with mainland India. I don't want to make it into a very political thing now here in this talk, but I just wanted to know how you got into NSD, how people like Baharul Islam got into NSD.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Got the question.
Yeah.
Anushya, I think it is a matter of how intensely you want to better yourself. Not you, but I'm sorry, talking about acting. I didn't even know that a National School of Drama existed because I grew up in a town where newspaper used to come 3 days after it was published. So I had no idea that that could be one such school in the world, and that too in India we have, where people are trained to act, which was like, I fell from heaven, and I was like, wow. So I think the intensity of your search and how intensely you seek to learn. Excuse me, our 10-year-old, he has come out of his den. How intensely you want to learn, and you are seeking to dive deep into what you love. In terms of, in my case, it was acting, and someone told me, and I applied for it, and so did Seema Vishwas and Baharul Islam, everyone who had gone to drama school, because it's very tough competition. There are only 20 nowadays. There are 26 seats, but it used to be 20 nowadays. All over India, thousands of applications are, applications are there every year, and only 20 students are taken. So I cannot find any other reason apart from the fact that you have sought intensely to go, and you have prepared yourself well, and you have fulfilled the demands and the requirements of the fundamental requirements to be in the school of drama school.
And then I have a next question. This is from Seoul Islam. Also for Adil, how do you perceive death? Is it just the end, or life, or an energy leaving its physical form, or is it more than that? There's a lot more written here, but I think that's the basic question about it.
I didn't get it. I didn't understand.
Okay.
What
How
did
do you perceive death? Is it just the end? So it's for Hotel Salvation, this question, because Hotel Salvation is dealing with that question. Is it just the end, or life, or an energy leaving its physical form, or is it more than that? People often find it difficult to reconcile the death of a closed one with an occurrence which is inevitable.
Okay.
Okay, you got it. Yeah. Okay. Circle of life.
Yeah, Ziaul Islam is from a very lovely little town called Horbok in Assam, and I personally know him, and he does ask these difficult questions. He has a habit of doing it. So it's about death he was talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I haven't died, so you know, it is very difficult to say it from the personal experience. But whatever I have read and what made sense to me, what rung true to me from the great masters of India, you know, the great masters which were born in India, Sri Aurobindo, Sri Ramana Maharshi, and all these great masters, what they have spoken about, and also from Buddhism, that I believe that energy cannot be killed. It can be only transformed. It transforms. It doesn't. You cannot destroy it. So the energy which is now in this body and keeping me alive, and if I die for some reason right now, and Adil will cease to be, and Adil's body will remain for some time, and then I will be buried or cremated. So whatever leaves the body, I would say that is part of the energy, and that would transform into some other thing and some other dimension. And I deeply believe in that. That it's not the end of the story. It is just the end of the episode, and the next season will come.
Okay, so will be Sanjay? Will there be like part 2? Sanjay, we don't have. Now we have your audio.
Yeah. Sorry, you were asking me something?
Okay, so my question was if there will be a part 2. Actually, if you'd like to bring in Subhashish, this is a good time now.
Oh, he's busy with somebody now.
Oh, okay. No, so will there be a second part of it?
He's with his grandmother having dinner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the question again is, will there be a second part of the Hotel Salvation?
The hero will change in that. I'll cut my hair short.
I'll charge so much to train you, Sanjay. You have no idea. You'll make a film.
So, Stefan, I think the story what Shubhi wanted to say, Subhashish wanted to say, I think he's told with all his heart and whatever skill he had. Now he's working on something really, another very interesting thing. So we are hoping, and with fingers crossed and with all humility, I must say that the audience decides what on the liking of the film, if it connects with them. But we are hoping that we make the audience happy again with some good stuff that is under development, especially from him.
Okay, when can we expect to get more information about the next work?
I think
you already tell us at least the theme or something.
I don't know. You see,
make it more secret.
No, it's not secret actually. I have to read the next draft of the script next month, and I'm very excited about what I have seen in the first stage. And the thing is that everything has a process, and because of this lockdown, things have got pushed. So maybe in the next 6 months, we'll know exactly where we are going.
Okay, I wanted to bring in Jyoti because she has a question. Okay, Jyoti, you had a question also. Jyoti, you can speak now, but if you don't speak, we don't hear you.
Jyoti is a guy.
Jyoti is a guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello, sir.
He's a big fan of Adil Hussain.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, we
Or can you hear me, sir?
yes.
I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. I had a question. Like, we always have that, that soft emotional connect with our mother, rather than our father. For everyone, our father seems to be a bit strict for us, for every son. So, what do you think the Mukti Bhavan could have turned out to be if it would have been a mother-son story? So, what emotional journey would have you have gone through,
Oh,
and
I
what
wish
difference would have made?
I knew. Yeah, I got it. I got the question. Jyoti, thank you for asking that. But I wish I knew. I have no idea. But if I can just quickly imagine, which is very difficult for me, but I'm just sort of entertaining myself with the idea of if the relationship between it was between the father and mother and son. Um, the drama it would have created would have been from a different space because father and son, not every father and son are in a difficult relationship, but most of the time, that's what I've seen. Because I don't know whether it is going to be, whether it would be right to say, but I think there is a male uh, kind of a competition. It is not logical, it is not planned, but there is
There's
there is a
conflict.
sense of
No, don't you think?
there is a sense of another male coming into the life of in the family, where the father and wife, the mother and father are having a relationship, going through, and suddenly there is a male member coming into it, secretly, possibly challenging the attention that the father is to get from his wife. I don't know. I'm just making it up. Uh, it is an alpha male situation, I guess, and so the difficulties that the father son face is of a very unique nature. I was wondering if I had a daughter, would I had similar relationship? I think I wouldn't have gone out of the house at all, leaving a daughter behind. So I think Freud would be able to answer that question much better than me or a sociologist. But that's my feeling. I feel that there is a sense of not insecurity. It's very difficult to point the finger at, but I wouldn't know what could be possibly the equation in Mukti Bhavan if it would have been it would have been the mother and the son, but it would have been different. Maybe it would be more subtle. Maybe it would be more nuanced. The relationship, and there are differences. I have seen mother son having terrible times in India. Forget about in another country. In India, the terrible times I have seen myself, from my own experience. So could be very interesting. I mean, that could be the part two.
Sanjay, that's your take, your turn.
Not me. My director has to decide.
Okay.
And if I know him
You
a
are the
bit,
producer. You can convince him to write mother son instead of.
Adil, I know his little thing, whatever little I know of him. I don't even claim I know him. So whatever I know of him, I know he would never repeat himself. He'd never repeat on a. Now, how can you even think like that about me? I'll do it different, something completely different. So yeah.
Yeah, that's always a good choice. I think we should come slowly to the end. So if there are any questions from the audience left, please ask now. You can also raise your hand. I can switch you in, but that will be really the last question. And but Adil, I have one question which came up here from Anjana. Also greetings from Anjana Singh. You may remember 2017. Anjana Singh did the framework program with her Amical Society. And so she's asking when you come back to Germany. And I have also a question related to Germany. But first, are there any plans to come here? Not so far, I guess.
I mean, I would love to visit Germany as part of my holidays, but it's so difficult to find that little time unless work takes me there. I would love to. I had enjoyed, we performed Othello, the play that I did up in Bonn. And Berlin is one of my most favorite cities in the world. I spent days and days inside the museums. When I drove from Amsterdam to Denmark to Berlin, I spent around a week inside the museums, all the museums. So I haven't finished it yet because I was standing in front of one painting for like the whole day. So I was taken aback. Was it Night Watchman? I forgot which one was that. So yes, I would love to come back to Germany, and yeah, I've got quite a few friends there as well.
Yeah, I see. So there are a lot of museums left. There will be also some new museums. There will be Humboldt Museum. This is a total new building in the center. And Sanjay, so we have to look for a co-production, Indo-German co-production where we have Violin. So
absolutely, I'm so excited about making a film with the German co-production. The good thing is that we made so many amazing friends in the film fraternity in Germany. So you guys and Thomas and Karsten and there are so many people, and in the München Film Festival where we were also. There's so many friends. I can't even remember all the names, but yeah, I'd love to bring a movie with co-production with Germany and maybe France, or Germany and Denmark, Netherlands, or Germany and Sweden. Something that I'd love to explore in the very near future, as soon as these things open up.
Okay, great. I think that very good.
I have a question. I have a question for Stefan.
Yeah.
Could you give us some details about how they plan to shoot or already shooting in Germany? As you have said, do you have any information on that?
Sorry, I didn't get it because I was looking for the last question here from the audience. Please say it again. Sorry.
My question is that since you said in the beginning that the film industry has started working minimally, but do you know what are the strategy or the rules that they had to follow so that we get some ideas also?
Yeah, sure. Actually, there's a couple of pages, which I think you may translate with Google Translator or whatever they are in German. But the simplest one is, for example, one shoot I know of, they started already, I think, 10 days ago. There's a TV series called, what is the name of the TV series? Anyway, they do it just, they have a very closed set. They do all the tests. All these staff team members, they wear the mask. I don't have the mask here. Let me see. I just, no, I left it somewhere. Okay, they wear the mask, and the actors, they just shoot, from the two sides, shot and, I don't know in English, shot and the other shot. So what is shot and opposite shot? Yeah, I think shot and opposite shot. So that they can separate the actors as much as possible, as much as they can. And they already started. Hubert and Staller, this is the name of the TV series. It's in the first TV program. It's a crime comedy.
Okay.
But
and,
did you
yeah?
Did you read the latest that Tom Cruise is going to shoot in the space. The first film to be shot in space is Tom Cruise is going there.
What?
Yes.
Yes,
The whole
yes,
film.
I heard it.
That's Tom Cruise for you. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yes, NASA has approved it.
Okay, I don't know what voice is that they're coming from.
That is Jyoti Prakash is still there, I guess.
Maybe, yeah. There's a last question here from Alexis Michel, and I like to close with that one. Adil, namaste. Happy to hear you speaking passionately about cinema. What has your film shot on Majuli Island in 2018 become?
Yes, the question is that what is the film or what happened to the film?
I guess so. I can watch if I have an Alex.
He's saying the film that you've shot in 2018 in Majuli Island, what has become of it? Like, what's happening?
Okay. I don't know actually. It opened in the Busan Film Festival, and it went to few more festivals. It got very good reviews. It's a horror thriller kind of a film. It's a paranormal thriller. We shot around 10% or 15% in Assam and Majuli, and rest of it was shot in a hill station in Manali.
You're talking about Nirvana. You're talking about Nirvana,
Sorry?
right? You're talking about Nirvana.
Yes. And so I guess we're waiting for someone to buy it. The producers are finding to sell the film to the OTT platforms.
Okay. Yeah. I want to see that film.
Okay.
I can send you the link.
Yes, I'd love to see it.
So if there are no urgent questions left, I would say that is it. We will have a next time. There's always a next time, second chance. And I would recommend to all of you who didn't have a chance to ask questions, just send me an email, and
Adil,
then we will try
Adil,
to.
before we leave, say hi, Sajida. She's watching you, by the way. Sajida is watching you.
Hi, Sajida. If you're watching, thank you for producing Mukti Bhavan with Sanjay. Thank you.
So cool.
Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you, Adil. Thank you, Sanjay. So keep safe, stay healthy, all the best, and and hope that India will also loosen or will also open the country soon again, like we do in Germany. We will report our experiences, hopefully they are good ones. So hopefully India can follow soon. And hopefully traveling is also allowed soon, because that is also important in our business. As we know, there is no Cannes this year. Normally next week we would have met in Cannes Film Festival, but that's not possible. There will be online video markets soon, but yeah. So we already have decided to close the session. Sorry about it. But if it's very urgent, then tell us quickly.
I want to ask Adil sir that is he planning to write an autobiography?
Adil.
Sir, your journey is a very fascinating journey. So from a small town in Assam and to the global platform, I think you should write from the book. Are you planning to write an autobiography, sir?
Let me get older a little more.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. We want it from you, actually.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Shifan, really, thank you, and your team.
Thank you, Violin.
Okay, see you soon.
Thank you, Shifan, for holding this. Thank you very much.